Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about vegan pantries, vegan, generally, what to stock, what to think about, and yeah, go through three different pantries and kind of I guess, just give a little spiel. And what else are we doing?
I think we're also talking about how to store pantry items, like how long things keep. Kind of like we did with the freezer stuff. Like pantry hygiene, if that's a word.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was going to have a little segment on us going to talk about how a manufacturer used by dates were bullshit. It's
Good.
always a really conservative.
Well,
all right,
okay.
Cool.
Well.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say we could start the game.
Okay, sounds good. I'll switch this over to the screen share view.
Unless y'all want to talk more, which is okay too.
We can absolutely talk more. I mean, how's everyone doing in the chat? I mean, I don't see a couple people in there. Sweet Vegan, I think this is the first time you've ever stopped in our stream, so we appreciate that.
I'm fine.
Indeed.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, I tried to have a little conversation beforehand, but how's everyone doing? All right.
How are you doing, David?
Well, I'm doing just fine. My quarantine, that's gonna last all of 2 days before it's technically over. Yay.
Yeah, that's not super effective that for a 14-day quarantine, they call you on the second to last day. And they're like, oh, by the way, you should have been in quarantine the past 2 weeks, but we're letting you know now. But so be it.
That's just the health department failing miserably at getting testing results.
I'm just pretty pissed. I'm just angry.
Yeah. In the case of you, Mary, you were extremely cautious and we all appreciate that. But a 10-day wait time to get a test result, you might as well just self-quarantine the full 14 days at that point and say screw the test.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well,
you're another number on the books though. Like David's been keeping track of how many cases our county has had. And you're one of them now.
I am. I am. Just a statistic. It's great.
It's weird to think about.
It is weird to think about. That I can 50 years from now, I'm still gonna be like, oh, I survived COVID.
Got the COVID.
Oh, what is it? There's a South Park episode where the whole town comes down with SARS, and they're consistently making the joke the entire episode that Stan's dad only has a 98% chance of surviving, and he's going through his will and everything. It's fantastic. I feel like this is the whole COVID thing over again.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing that we're treating it so severely, that's for certain.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have a will, even if, not just for the pandemic, but just for life, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Even as soon as you have any amount of tangible asset to your name, you should start to have a will. It's very easy to draft up something simple, get it notarized, and then in the case of your death, there's no squabbling. It gets executed and it's very simple.
Fun weekend project.
Well, on that note, we can start the game. So, this week's game, yeah, I named it How's It Keeping? Or Keeping, really. And so we are gonna basically be looking at shelf-stable pantry items, different items that are like pretty frequently stocked in a pantry, and then you guys have to guess how long you guys think it's still good for. Um, Most of these are more of like a nutritional value, like whenever the food is just like basically just empty nutrients, empty calories. Um, so, but obviously there is, and we can talk about this more later, of like making sure that your pantry items can go bad at any point if they, get mold or have bugs in them or whatever. So this is just more of like how long should you give yourself before you eat it, just to I think it's good to just like get through your pantry items. But anyways, so without further ado, pinto beans. Wow, that's some weird. I should have scooted. Well, anyways, pinto beans.
Hmm.
I literally have bags of pinto beans up in my drawer, and I've never looked at the use-by date.
Yeah, I know people who keep them for years, like buying 50-pound quantities and then keep it in a giant tub in their garage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like 5 years.
Okay. I just want to clarify real quickly. Mary, are you going by how long you have until like the use-by date expires, or is this more of a general consensus how long it'll last?
No, yeah, how long it'll last.
The
Well,
first or the
that's-
second one?
Yeah.
Okay then. I mean, I'm gonna go 3 years.
3. Okay. What is it?
It's like you should really eat them between 2 to 3 years. But they also have some 5. It said that like by the time it reaches 5 years, it's like no nutritional value really, or like none of the nutrients are gonna be.
What's the process where nutrients like leaches from food like this?
Like, what's the name?
Or does it just like decompose, or like where does it go?
That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't really know how that works. I know that like people say the same thing about like when you cook food, the nutritional value decreases. So
I'm assuming, I would
Just
assume
close.
that just like the whatever chemicals and nutrients, they just naturally break down over time.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
mean,
know.
with the cooking too, because heat would accelerate that. Huh. What were you saying, David?
Oh, nothing. Not a big deal. All right, cool. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Pasta.
I have a box of pasta like right next to me, and I really want to like check the expiration date, but 2 years.
I'm trying to think if there's really
We'll go 2
any
years.
nutritional value in pasta, really. I'm gonna go 4 years.
Well, what I was looking at said 1 year.
Huh.
Yeah. So I think it's more of like probably gets more stale or something. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It said only 1 year.
See,
Okay, let me look at this.
I've got some boxes of macaroni up in my closet right now that are probably about 2 years old by now, and they're still
Okay.
fine.
This says July 30, 21. That's like in 1,000 years. It's probably like
July 3rd or 30th, 2021.
I was like, wow, this is like that corn they found in a cave and popped.
Yeah, that pasta's gonna last longer than like the human race.
At the rate we're going, that's about right.
I mean, maybe even those pinto beans at this rate. Oh man. All right.
Okay, next one. White rice in the picture disappeared. That sucks. There, just imagine white rice there. I don't know where it went. That's weird.
It's okay. It's in the picture. It's just white.
Yeah, that is a close-up picture of some rice. Zoom super in.
Um, this is really hard. I don't think I've ever really thought about any of this.
Let's see.
Maybe 2 years. That kind of seems to be like right in the middle of what everything's been.
See, I would imagine white rice or any rice in general is a lot more stable than, say, any pasta. So I'm gonna go up to like 3 years again.
Well, and white rice has already had a lot of its stuff taken out of it. So I wonder if it'd be different than like brown rice that still has a lot of like more nutrients to lose.
That's a good point. I don't know. All right, Miss Mary, what's the verdict?
Okay, white rice is a little bit of a trick question. White rice is an indefinite storage period. If you store it properly, it can last for like years and years and years.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean,
Is it just because it doesn't have a lot of nutrients?
I think so.
Like it just is, kind of like starch and
I
carbohydrates. Like that's about all there is to it.
Yeah, I do. I think that that's what it is. That it's just like there's not really anything to change.
yeah, I think you kind of nailed it on the head when you like white rice is husked, so like the
Yeah.
majority of the nutrients are already gone. So what's to lose?
Okay, so going on from that, how long does brown rice last
I'm
for?
like really happy you did that one as a follow up because and I'm like really curious. I would have had to Google it otherwise.
Well, the brown rice has run away, just like the white rice. So
I know.
how
Maybe
long will
like
it last on its own?
6 years? Man, I don't know. 6 years, that's my guess.
Oof. I'm gonna go 2 years.
It's actually like in the most ideal conditions, it gets up only to 18 months.
What?
Yeah, which I like I definitely have a couple years old brown rice. But I guess because what I was reading was there's like really high oil content in the rice. And so yeah, it goes bad like really quickly. Like you should probably eat it within 6 months if it's just like in your pantry.
That makes me really want to use more brown rice opposed to white rice.
Yeah.
It just seems like this is more like really blatant evidence that there's so much more to it. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, for your tummy? Yeah, I can get it for you. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, so isn't that kind of crazy? Brown
Yeah.
rice is like super quick. Okay, last one is soy sauce.
Oh.
Soy sauce.
Are we assuming it's in the fridge? Because I know it's like the bottle says you're supposed to refrigerate it. Or is this like in my car? Which I definitely wouldn't keep soy sauce in my car, but I'm pathetic.
So to say, maybe don't do that. I don't know. I guess if it's on the label to say keep refrigerated, it probably is assuming that it's in the fridge.
Okay.
I mean-
I'd go like 2 years.
Oh, see, I was gonna go way more than that. Soy
Really?
sauce is like a crap ton of salt in it. So I imagine
yeah,
it stays
it's like
good for way longer than people think. I was gonna say like a decade.
okay, what is it?
It's actually 3 years. But that, I mean, there was, like, I was reading about apple cider vinegar, and I was going to put that one in, but that's also an indefinite one because it's such an acidic environment that, like,
Yeah.
nothing can live in it anyways.
Hey, yeah, I think I'm going to focus on my paper.
So, yeah, I think that's all of them.
Today I don't
Yeah, I would imagine like what the amino acids in the soy sauce are what it tended to break down after a while.
I'm gonna. I haven't started yet.
Sure, I don't know. Something like
Open up
that.
the
Probably the sodium.
Is there a specific thing you want me to do, or are you just
So, yeah.
letting me know? I'm just
Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Lentils also. I forgot.
Okay.
Wait, how many pinto beans was 2 to 3, right?
You guys call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go 1 to 2 because they're like smaller, so they might like permeate quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to.
I'm actually gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna go 1 year.
Solid logic. What is it?
I didn't actually write it down, but I think I have the tab still open. So let's look. Oh, yeah, it is. It's 1 year. I thought it was 1 year, but I was like,
High five, David.
Nice job.
Killing it.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. How do I do that? Just kidding.
Oh, you don't have to. It's all good. We'll just swap it over to discussion view. There we
I'm
go.
so ready for like the follow-up rant about how best these buy dates are inaccurate. Woo!
All right.
David,
So I might as well just talk about that real quick. So oh, sorry. Did you all?
No,
Oh no. We're all here.
I think, yeah, I think we're fine. I'm
Okay.
here.
No, I'm just stuttering. It's not the connection stuttering. It's me stuttering.
oh no. You
Alright.
need one of those, you know those sarcastic like teenage boy shirts where it's like sarcastic comment loading and it has like thing icon.
I
like
can
those-
honestly say I've never seen one of those.
What?
I know what you're talking about, Amelia.
Okay. They're just like cringy. There's also like sometimes it's like a loading bar and it has something like that. Or it's like 404 air, like I don't care or something like that.
I've seen the 404 error shirts.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll take all of the ridiculous crap that I say on here, all of the weird taglines I get. We'll start making a t-shirt line of it, and people can just wear that.
I really want an I will eat questionable stuff one because
I mean,
I just feel like we all have a person in our life who fits that description. Like, oh yeah, like daily questionable things. Like, I had a friend who like showed up to class because they ate a bad chicken. It was like the day of a test and they'd vomited all night. They deserve an I will eat questionable things t-shirt for that.
Oh gosh.
Good for your immune system.
Yeah, it is good for your immune system.
Gotta test out this every once in a while. See, if I eat this bad thing, will I really vomit up everything myself? Yes.
by the way,
Whole system.
Patty does know we're live, right?
Yes.
Surprise! Unintended guest.
All right. So I guess, yeah. Okay. So the statement that manufacturer use by dates are bullshit isn't so much the fact that they're not good. A lot of manufacturer sell by or use by dates are basically extremely conservative compared to what something would actually like last. Um, and most people see that use by date and they'll throw it away at the use by date. But I mean, the companies, well, for one, being a little conservative because it makes you buy food faster. Slightly, that's not their like main concern. All right, and I got to take my headset off. I literally cannot get this with this back feed. Okay, so sorry that my stuttering there was mainly from that, but I'm also just terrible at talking. Um, but yeah, so they make these use by dates conservative because if somebody gets sick and sues the company, and they go back and they find that the use by date was in a questionable time frame, then I mean, that puts the company in a lot of hot water. So they basically say, look, it's great to eat for 6 months. It's probably good to eat for another 6 months. And then it's probably not good to eat for any time after that. So they'll do the cutoff at 6 months because that whole entire questionable period, if somebody gets sick and they sue and the company takes a lawsuit for that, I mean, it could have literally been saved by a simple date change. And so it's really more of a they're covering their ass situation rather than the food is technically bad. So you always do run a slight risk of like eating potentially bad food when you eat past the use by date, but 99 times out of 100, I'm going to say you're perfectly fine. Milk is actually a great example of this. If you keep it cold and you keep it refrigerated, it'll be fine for up to a week past that use by date. But even if you leave it out warm a few times, it'll go bad on the use by date. So it's also a lot of times they're just trying to take human error into account. And so they're just covering the potential for a lawsuit. I mean, that's literally it. It's bullshit, but it's saving them money in the long run. I hope nobody had any questions there.
No, I think, I mean, there's nothing in the chat, so I think that we're good, but,
All right. Yeah, sorry. I just couldn't talk with the back feed, at least not on a ranty sort of nature.
no, that's terrible. You can just not listen to us. You can just, that's like a week or two ago, whenever I was like, yeah, I can hear you guys.
Oh yeah, and you're listening. Were you listening like through my headphones or something weird?
I don't know what was going on. It was just like I think that it was too far away or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But
I'm
anyways,
not sure what was going down last week.
yeah. So are we gonna do the different pantries now? Are we ready for that?
Yeah, we can.
Let's share my pantry.
All right. Before we do
Yes,
that, real quick,
let's-
did anybody have any questions regarding use by dates? Does anybody have any like add-ons, or am I just completely talking out of my ass? You know, that kind of thing.
Oh, no, I've heard that too. I think a common phrase I've heard that summarizes it is just like trust your nose, like trust your senses above what they say. If it looks good and it smells good, it's probably fine. And yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right then. Well, I guess let's then move on to our pantry items. Amelia, you wanted to go first?
I can. Does everyone have a pantry?
I gotta go grab a few things, but yeah.
Ooh, that's so cool. All right. So this is not my personal pantry. This is kind of like a loaner pantry, but thankfully the people I'm loaning my pantry from at the moment have really great vegan options. And so I thought I'd just go over some of the things that I used to eat a lot as a vegan and just delicious stuff that you should keep around. Can keep around. Don't feel obligated here. All right. So, I'm gonna start with legumes because they're really awesome and they're really kind of a diverse food group. So legumes include things like lentils, which are kind of like thin peas. Right here we have like some darker green ones, but there's also red lentils. And lentils, like all of the other legumes, are pretty awesome because not only do they have a lot of protein in them, they're a really good base for a lot of meals, but in terms of like nutrition, they fit really well with a vegan diet because certain amino acids that um, rice will have and wheat will have, like they don't have all of them. And so to get the complete protein, you need the other sets, and legumes provide that other set. And so they're really good balance. And we really don't eat a lot of them in our American diet, which is kind of unfortunate. Like even if you're not planning on like eating vegan, I would definitely recommend like trying some legumes out. So you also have beans. So these are some black beans. They're pretty much like lentils, but they can take a little bit longer to cook. Dough beans, great for refried beans. Some kidney beans. I don't actually love kidney beans, but they're pretty good in chili and like a Caribbean rice dish kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I also have cans of beans, which are more expensive than the big bags, but sometimes it can take like 2 hours to cook beans right, and so it helps to just have quicker options. The only beans or legumes I don't have that I wish I did to show you guys are garbanzo beans, which I'm sure hopefully Mary or David will have. One of you, hopefully.
Yeah, I got you.
Really good. Okay, cool. Um,
Now, quick question here.
yes.
You said legumes for like the lentils, and then you called like black beans and kidney beans beans. Is there actually a difference here?
They're all part of the same family. They're all legumes. They're just beans are shaped a little differently.
Okay. No, I guess another question would be, could, and this, Mary, you might be able to answer this a little better. Could you kind of swap out the different types of legumes? I mean, obviously the flavor would be different, but say the recipe calls for black beans, could you throw kidney beans in instead?
I mean, yeah, generally. I mean, it definitely does like depend on like what you're cooking. Like, there's some things where it's like, yeah, that would be fine if you switched it, and then sometimes it's like the flavor's just going to be too off that it's not really worth it. So I think that's like a case kind of decision. That's how I would do it. But I switch things out all the time.
I feel like it's easy to go like bean to bean. Like if it calls for like a white bean, you can use a kidney bean or a black bean, and you'll probably be fine. But it kind of be hard to go from like lentils to beans just because the texture is so different. Like beans are kind of chewier in the middle, while lentils don't really have that, and they cook a lot. Like their cook time is a lot different. But I mean, you could probably make it work.
Okay. Yeah. I just asked that because I know a lot of vegan recipes will kind of use like a specific bean, and owning like 9 types of beans is a little bit inconvenient. So if you're able to maybe mix and match a little bit, that would make it a lot easier on a beginning vegan.
Definitely. I feel like it's kind of like different types of pastas. Like, yeah, elbows are like the best for macaroni and cheese because of the perfect way they hold the sauce. But you could also do it with broken up lasagna noodles and it's still fine. It's just not exactly the same.
That might be the first time I've ever heard lasagna noodles and mac and cheese in the same sentence.
Man, I was desperate. But I've definitely been there.
I wonder if people have ever made like a lasagna that's actually just mac and cheese.
Oh man.
Just
Just
skip
like
the
a
meat.
cheese sauce.
Oh, there's gotta be a recipe out there that's like lasagna noodles and then like cheddar cheese and then maybe like I don't know what you'd put in between that, like what else, but I feel like you could add to that base.
That honestly sounds so disgusting. For what I know it's the same like things as mac and cheese, but just like deconstructed in that way is like, hmm. At
Well,
least to me.
you could also go the other way and do like an elbow lasagna dish where it's like the elbows and the sauce and
Yeah,
then you put it in there and then the ricotta and just like stir it up.
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
All right.
Anyway, talking
Cool. Yeah,
about
I
pasta.
think we
I also-
sidetracked you enough.
Oh wait, what?
Nothing. No, keep going. I'm just interrupting
Oh.
apparently.
So I'm gonna move on to grains now. So I have pasta as a grain just because it's like wheat based. Um, Pasta is a really good like quick meal. And then I don't have a lot of rice. Here we have some white rice. And then if you're really getting fancy, you can get something like quinoa. It's more expensive, but sometimes it adds a different texture to things that's kind of pleasant. But you don't like need it to survive. That's all on grains. There's other ones like farro or something if you're really getting fancy. Um, and then I don't have oatmeal either. I really wish I had that. That's like the other thing, other than garbanzo beans that I don't have. But
I think Mary might have you covered.
okay, imaginary oatmeal. It'll be cool to see the overlap because I feel like that'll be really helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I have some snack items. So we have some dried fruit and some coconuts. And then some nuts. Nuts are expensive, but cashews especially, there's a lot of recipes that kind of use them as a texture base. Like you soak them and then grind them up. And so they can be helpful in vegan cooking. And then these are just yummy. Okay. And then peanut butter. Also really great for quick meals. And that's all I have for snacks. I mean, obviously you can find like granola bars and stuff. I just don't have any of that on me. And then the last thing that I would put in a vegan pantry is seasoning. So when you're cooking vegan cuisine, you don't have to cook like outside of American cuisine, but it can make it a lot easier because other cultures can use a lot less meat and eggs and milk. And so branching out to like, oh, I'm going to try something like a Chinese dish like that is just a really good way to find yummy food that doesn't feel like a compromise so much. It's just different. And so part of that is buying spices from those different cuisines, which can be expensive up front, but you use so little over time that it's really worth your while to build up like a decent stack of fun spices. I just have the basics. So we got some paprika, some cinnamon, which actually goes in a lot of bean dishes and stuff. Like it's not just for dessert. Ground cumin. Love cumin. I feel like turmeric is also a favorite. Da-da. coriander, curry, dun-dun. And then I feel like this is like a vegan special. Some nutritional yeast, yay! This is also good for quick meals. And it has like a lot of those amino acids that are sometimes hard to get in other foods. So yeah, that's my take on a vegan pantry.
Nice. Well, that's fantastic. I'm going to quickly jump in here real quick. Beardy Cooks, I appreciate the follow. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy our stream today. Yeah. Yeah, going back to you talking about all the spices and such. Yeah. Meat and other animal products bring a lot of flavor to the table. So yeah, like if you want to try and match that flavor, you have to use spices, and having a wide variety of spices, which I'll show you. I don't know how much Mary's going to show you, but I'll show you our extensive collection of spices here at ECM.
Heck yeah.
But yeah.
On the spices note, I don't have any with me. But also different types of oils kind of go in with that to build flavor. Like sesame oil is amazing. I think that's like the one that comes to my mind. But things like that, just when you're cooking other cuisines, it helps to have like the seasonings and the oils, because it just adds so much flavor to it and it's delicious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, Mary, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure, I'll go.
Okay, cool.
So I'll try not to like do too many repeats, I guess, to try to like show different things.
I feel like you should at least mention the repeats just so people can see, like, oh, if everyone mentions lentils, then maybe lentils are kind of helpful.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of planning on. So I guess I don't know. I put them all out behind me, but it's kind of hard to see. So yeah, with this we have some different types of lentils. And one thing that I feel like you didn't say, Amelia, but the good thing about lentils to have is like, whereas beans, like you gotta soak them, you gotta cook them, it's like this whole thing. Lentils, you can have dinner in 20 minutes. And then I have my ridiculously big thing of chickpeas that I keep. And I feel like these are like an in-between between beans and lentils, and that it's like halfway. Like you can soak them, or you can like put them on to boil, and if you boil them, it'll take like 2 hours on the stovetop, 1.5. But it's like, oh, I kind of know what I'm doing, or like doing for dinner, but I need a little bit of time. And also we have an Instant Pot now, which is like so helpful if you're gonna try it, like if you're gonna be making beans and different proteins from Patty just like got some of that out. We have some like different split chickpeas, different things. Yeah, Instant Pots are really helpful for significantly decreasing the amount of time that you need when you're going to cook like beans and other things like that, which is really, really awesome to have. But obviously that's like I got mine for Christmas. I would not have an Instant Pot otherwise. It was like my gift. So yeah, so then as far as like carbs or whatever, obviously there's oatmeal. Oatmeal is like the main bay, which I really prefer quick oats over like the full grain oatmeal. I don't know why. I don't really have a specific reason. I just do. And obviously it's faster, so you can like do it. I really like making overnight oats. And I've actually used oats. Another good thing is if you have like a blender, you can make oat milk with it, which is like so cheap and so good. And then you can like make oat milk and then make overnight oats. And It's like a whole thing. It's just like a lot of oats, but it's really good. Um, Another fun little grain is couscous. This is actually kind of old. I don't really use it a whole lot. But if you're like trying to like mix things up, it's fun to have. Um, but I generally don't stock quinoa. Um, Another thing that I feel like people don't talk about enough, or like, I don't know, I really love it, but it's like protein pastas, which are becoming more and more common in the stores. This is the Kroger brand I think this is new, but it's usually about like $2.50 to $3 for a box of this, as opposed to like $1. But you're getting like a really significant chunk of protein if you just like switch this out. So I really like them. I think that they're worth it. Um, but yeah, to each their own. So it's 2 ounces, has 13 grams of it, which is like, that's a big chunk. So highly recommend that. And that's like super easy to just pick it up. They have all different kinds. Some, like the lentil ones, have much more of a taste, but like chickpea pasta is like basically just pasta. So yeah. And then I do keep a big thing of brown rice, which, as I said earlier, it kind of should have been used probably sooner, but I really like brown rice, blah, blah, blah. And one nice thing is the airtight container. So these things I get, like, literally every time I'm at Goodwill, there's usually like a set of these, and they're like decently big, so, and they kind of are cute. Like, I don't really keep them together, but if you wanted to like keep them on the countertop, I feel like they make you look like you have your life together, so that's cool. Um, so moving on, I do have I really like this container. I got it at Goodwill. But this is my nutritional yeast. And when I was reading about the different shelf stability, I was looking into nutritional yeast, and it said that like the dark, nutritional yeast should be in the dark is one thing. So I was like, haha, that's convenient because I have it in this solid container, so that's cool. So let me see. Oh, I was gonna mention, I love peanut butter. Apples and peanut butter is like one of my favorite snacks. And, but I feel like I really don't like buying peanut butter most of the time because it almost always has palm oil in it, which is like a definite no-go for me. So back when People's Grocery, which was our old co-op, was in town, they had, and this is like really old, I should probably get rid of this, but it's probably not good. But they had like a grind it yourself peanut butter machine. And so I like to go there, and it was just like pure peanuts coming out of that. But now that we don't have that option, and it was like still pretty affordable, and like it's kind of fun to just like grind your own peanut butter. I really like Kroger has this like natural peanut butter, and it's like $1.50 for this thing, which is pretty awesome because usually the more pure peanut butters are like way expensive. It does come in plastic, which kind of sucks, but
What's on the ingredient list for that one? Is that just peanuts and salt?
Yep, roasted peanuts and salt. I don't know if you could see it if it's zoomed in, but
Yeah.
No, unfortunately not.
The brand of peanut butter I get is this one, the Smucker's Natural. I don't know how much it costs, but it's the same. It's peanuts and salt, but it comes in a glass bottle, if that's important to y'all.
yeah, I would probably get the glass bottle one when I have a fat wallet. I can invest. Another thing I like is flax seeds. I have these just like in an old Starbucks thing. Back when I like would make a lot more overnight oats or like smoothies and stuff, these are really good to throw in there. They have a lot of like condensed nutrients in there. Another thing I know a lot of people like is hemp hearts, but I feel like flax seeds are like actually at least when I've got them at like the old co-op and stuff, they've been pretty affordable. If you're not buying like a huge amount of them. So I really like that. And I'm sure David will, you're probably going to talk more about flax, I'm going to guess. So
I'll show a little
that,
bit, but y'all are way more knowledgeable about this than I am.
well,
I'm just here for the ride today.
yeah. And then I just have some currants. This is the only like dried fruit that I have, other than I have like a random trail mix that I keep in my room for snacking. Um, but these are just like really fun for overnight oats or just like throwing them in there. So yeah, that's kind of all of the like, oh, and I wasn't gonna go through like all of the cans I have. I only keep a couple like cans stocked, and that's usually tomato sauce and diced tomatoes, because I like making curries a lot of the time, and you can just throw that in there. And coconut milk, which is really great if you're gonna make some sort of cream or curries also. Different things like that. What did I make? I made something with coconut cream. I can't remember, but yeah, good to have on hand. And I also like having peppers in adobo sauce just because they're absolutely delicious. And I feel like they bring like a really nice smoky flavor. So if you're kind of craving the like smoky barbecue meat, not barbecue, but stuff like that, it's a really good replacement flavor for like more meat kind of flavors. Um, so then I just grabbed like some of the flavor adding things, I guess. One great thing to have on hand is molasses. Um, Molasses, one, I've learned recently that it has really high iron. So if you're anemic or are struggling to get iron into your diet, it's great to have. And I also like it because I don't want to buy brown sugar. But if you just buy, especially because brown sugar usually comes in plastic, but you can buy white sugar, which is much more stable, and molasses, and then just mix it together and make some brown sugar whenever you need it. And I find that to be much more convenient than being like, oh shoot, I gotta get some brown sugar from the store. Um, I also wanted to throw out like a an affordability. Another thing is like I feel like if you go to Dillon's or like conventional grocery stores, curry powder is usually like kind of expensive, or it's expensive or like affordable but like in a really small one. So I would definitely say if you want curry powder to go to like most Asian markets, because I think this whole thing was probably like $6, $7. But obviously we
Really?
have a lot more of it. Huh?
That's like the price you would pay at like Dillon's for like one of those like normal sized.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've had this like a long time and I still have a lot in there. And I feel like it is probably more like authentic or whatever. Um, but
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
I would definitely recommend doing that. Another thing is having bouillon. I really like this. This is the first time I've got this, but this is the better than bouillon, so it's like paste basically. And I really like just like throwing it into like any dish that I make just to add a little bit of extra flavor. So you can get cubes or powder or this paste, but this has like a lot of different stuff in it and it's really good. Um, this is like kind of a random thing, but um, Patty, my roommate, has black salt, which is, I think it's Nepali, Bangladeshi. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. But yeah, this has like a really strong sulfur smell. So if you ever want like the egg kind of thing, it's definitely more of like a expensive. I don't know how expensive this was because I didn't buy it, but like if you really like eggs or really want this, it's something. But it's definitely kind of random. Um, I One of my favorites is tahini. I love tahini. I think it's great for dressings. I feel like it's just like it just adds a little bit of yumminess, and I like making homemade hummus. I'm definitely partial to this brand, the Zayad brand, because a lot of like when you get it at like Dillon's or whatever the grocery store, it separates. And this I think is a little bit more. I don't know. I get it at the Asian market, and it doesn't separate as bad, and it's like much more creamy and liquidy. So if you're gonna get tahini, like get the yummy stuff. This was $6. So yeah, but you can make dressings out of it. You can put it in hummus, all sorts of stuff. It's like super versatile and super yummy. Um, with that, also Dijon mustard. I hate yellow mustard, but I think Dijon mustard is great, and you can just like put it in a lot of dressings. So I really like that. Um, a more recent addition is for a long time, I wouldn't get lime and lemon juice. I would just like get lemons and limes whenever I needed them, but I kind of sucked it up and got them. So I know that it's probably got like more preservatives or whatever in it, but it's really good to have on hand when you're just like need a little bit of lemon juice and you don't want to have a lemon. So yeah, and I really like this is more expensive, but it's like pure lime juice and it's really good. So you can just put it into stuff. Um, Another favorite is apple cider vinegar. It's super yummy, super great. I use it on my hair, like I rinse my hair every single day with apple cider vinegar, or every time I shower. It's my favorite. The one thing is I would definitely look for brands that have the mother in them because that means that they're going to be much more microbially active and have like the beneficial bacteria and probiotics that you want in there. So if you're going to get it, just like look to see that it says the mother because that's going to be way better for you. A couple more things I have. Some coconut oil and some olive oil. I really like using either of these or both of these. I know some people will use like margarine or like plant butter, but I really enjoy when I'm baking just using solid coconut oil instead of butter. It works for me, so whatever. And olive oil. I don't really like buy like olive oil versus extra virgin olive oil because I don't really get what the big difference is. But I get the cheapest one, and that's still glass. I like this one. This is just a hot sauce that's like I think it's like literally like 80 cents at Dillon's, but it's just like a very basic hot sauce that you can just throw in there. And I like making like buffalo flavored stuff and things like that. So it's like super cheap and like the ingredients are still like cayenne red peppers, vinegar, salt, xanthan gum, and dehydrated garlic. So seems pretty good to me. Okay, I don't use it a lot, but vegan protein powder is nice to just like have on hand. If you want to make like a smoothie or whatever. I really like mashing up bananas and putting this in there, so it's kind of like ice cream. I don't use it a lot, but if you're ever like, sometimes I'm a little bit like, oh, I haven't eaten protein in all day. I should do that. I'll make something with this. And then I also have tamari, which is basically soy sauce that's only soybeans. Most soy sauce has gluten in it and other stuff. I'm not gluten free, but a lot of recipes recommend this in vegan cooking, and frankly, I just think it tastes way better than normal soy sauce. I just really enjoy tamari. It has like a kind of strong, nice soy flavor. So I get this one, and this is also probably something that would be significantly cheaper at the Asian market. So, and I was gonna say, I live in a house with like a lot of people. So we just, with canola oil or like just like a base cooking oil, we just get like this huge thing, and then we have like a little Here, I'll show you. We just put it into this container, and then we have this next to the stove. So yeah, then you can buy less containers of canola oil. So yeah, I think that's all. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, I was going to talk about another thing is that I really like um, shopping in bulk or trying to avoid plastic. So when we had a co-op here, I would take like empty jars and like this jar, and I would like go and I would fill it up. But now I feel like I've upgraded, and you can make these at home really easily. But how it's worked out is I just have a bunch of these Sprouts canvas bags. So whenever you go to a place that has bulk and will let you fill your own containers, you can just take these along, and yeah, I just put like I create like a little note in my phone, and I'll say like lentils are this number and beans are this number and blah blah blah. But yeah, this makes shopping like a lot easier and much more zero waste, which I really am interested in. So yeah, I think that's all. And I'm $5.99 now.
All right, cool. I appreciate you. All right, Mary, you know this pantry probably better than I do. So, if you think of anything that I haven't shown, please let me know, because I'm just trying to cobble together stuff here.
Can we introduce your pantry, David? Because your pantry is a little different than our pantry. So me and Mary's were just like kind of what we have around our house. But the pantry that David is about to show is kind of a community pantry that is used to feed up to like 40 to 70 people on a weekly basis, like a vegan meal. And so it is stocked with everything.
Yeah.
It's stocked, but it's also stocked with a lot of stuff that just doesn't get used very much. One of the consequences of having, like, cooking for a large group is you have to buy in bulk, and sometimes you have specific ingredients that basically don't get used for 6 months. So, I mean, yeah. Our pantry kind of suffers from that. Okay. So yeah, we'll just start with some of the basics. We've got our red lentils here. We've got a bag of Great Northern beans. I don't know if there's really any difference from, what are those called? The Italian sounding white beans.
Cannellini?
Yeah. I'm
I
not
don't
entirely
know.
sure what the difference is on those.
I'm not
Is there-
sure I don't know.
Is there a way to make like an intro game about different types of beans? I feel like they're so funny.
Yeah.
I can't think of a way to make it like quiz gamey fun though.
Who knows? So what we have here is two different types of garbanzo beans, actually. You can buy them in dry bulk, and the process to rehydrate those takes a while, but they're a lot cheaper. Or you can just buy the garbanzo beans in cans, ready to use, but obviously a lot more expensive. More garbanzo beans. Here at the ECM pantry, I mean, we do use some odd, well, I wouldn't say odd, but less common ingredients. Don't know if you can really see that well, but we've got a bowl here of straight up just wheat seed.
Epic.
Yeah, Mary can actually tell you more about that, if you'd like.
It's kind of awesome, actually. I don't know where that came from. We just have like a huge tub there of wheat seed, which if you watch our Real Food Live, I used to make Turkish pudding a couple weeks ago, which was pretty great. So, yeah, we're gonna have to find more recipes because that's been in there, I mean, certainly since I started working. So,
It's
I don't
going on
know.
like 2.5 years. The very
Yeah.
first, the very first thing I did when I started working here, and I did a full clean on that pantry, was take this wheat seed that was stored in freaking buckets, and I put it in a tub just so that it wouldn't be like open to the elements.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
it's been there a while.
gosh.
But
So
wheat seed is very durable. I mean, it stays in silos for seasons, years even, without hardly any issues. So it's a very durable thing.
wait, but no one knows. Like none of us were there when it was bought. We just know it was there before we got there, right?
It wasn't bought. Somebody legitimately. I don't think they harvested it, but I think they basically were helping out on a farm, and they got a couple buckets of it, like straight out of the back of the trailer.
Oh,
Yeah, this, from the looks of it, with all the casings on it and such, it's probably coming right out of the harvester.
feels like Kansan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we just have a bucket of wheat in the back of our.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So
It's been very consistent.
we also have a little bit more of a fancier version of wheat seed. We've got farro. Mary has also used that in her cooking, I think, on the Real Food Live. Let's see. Not gonna get to that yet. I know y'all talked about peanut butter, but we don't actually have any peanut butter here. But we do have an almond butter, which I think is technically what, more environmentally conscious. I can't quite remember.
I seriously doubt that.
I don't
Yeah?
know. I've heard almonds kind of get crap for being really water needy,
Well, then I'm totally wrong.
but I don't know.
Also,
There's like a million factors.
Yeah. All right.
yeah, I might like. I have opinions of almonds actually because they when they bloom, I think in about February, um, in California, the crop is so large and requires so much bees that a lot of the apiaries in the country actually ship bees to California for them to pollinate the almond fields, um, which has led, I mean, it basically just like tuckers them out, and it can kind of contribute to one of the million factors that are leading to the decline of bees. So, not to be like that person, but I'm like, I don't like you almonds.
That's fair.
How
That's
dare
very fair.
you?
I
How
don't use
dare
it
you?
myself. It's too expensive.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, it's, yeah, they're just shipped so far that it kind of can be, make them, the bees more susceptible to disease or
I
other
feel like
things.
this is a great time to talk about it because like everyone is now realizing how diseases work. So imagine you fly across the continent, you're jet lagged as whack, and then you go and there's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of other, well, we're pretending you're a bee, but bees around you all hanging out in the same space. Like it's a really great way to spread diseases that might not have otherwise been spread as widely as they are.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah, I think that there's a good, you guys know the Netflix documentary series Rotten, I think it's called. I think there's one episode about honey and the bee industry, and it's really interesting if people want to look it up.
I don't think I've seen that, but
It's like it's basically it just like will take one type of food. Like there is an episode on peanuts. It'll take like one type of agricultural crop or food or whatever, and it'll just like talk about all sorts of and like the financial like scandals involved in like the honey industry and like the environmental concerns and like the ethical stuff. And so it's really interesting. I would definitely recommend it.
Does it also provide like, okay, so here are some of the bad things in the industry, but here's some of the like better sides of the industry?
I
Uh,
think so.
like like maybe there are ways that people are sustainably harvesting certain things, like, and I feel like that information's helpful so that like if one carrot, like carrots are typically really hurtful, but you can harvest them in a more less hurtful way. Like it'd be helpful to know to maybe look for that or to support that.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've watched it, but I think they do talk about stuff like that. Um,
Okay, that's
I mean,
cool.
I generally believe that like buying small and buying local with most foods is the way to go. Just because like there's less bureaucracy involved in your food. Um, but yeah, I'd have to rewatch some of it. And I haven't seen all of the episodes, so I'm not really an expert or anything, but just a suggestion if people are interested in like food.
We could do a movie night series.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Netflix.
Yes.
All right, cool. Well, getting back to this pantry, or we'll never get it done. All right, Amelia, did you want to add something in there real quick?
No, no. I was ushering you onward.
Ah, all right, appreciate it. All right, cool. So we've got oats here, and we've also got steel cut oats. Now, I have no idea what the real difference is. So if somebody wants to enlighten us real quick, that'd be amazing.
I don't know.
I'm not really an expert. I know steel cut is really small, and I think they kind of cook differently. But I don't really cook with steel cut, so I don't really know.
Oh, you're right. Well, regardless, yeah. If you want variety in your your vegan
They're like-
breakfasts, then that's a good way to get it. All right.
Here, I'm gonna sit for a second, and we're gonna have a special guest explain steel cut oats.
Aha. All right.
Hi. I don't see myself.
Don't worry, Patty.
Can you guys
you're on
hear
screen.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can and see you, Patty.
So steel cut oats are a lot. They're more chewy in consistency, and they take a lot longer to cook. But I don't know if you can do it in the pressure cooker. If you have an Instapot, they're amazing. So you can put the night before. You can put steel cut oats and any dried fruit that you have, or like raisins and maybe some cinnamon or even cinnamon stick, and some like soy milk or something in the Instapot, and then you can set it to wait, and it'll cook it in the morning for you, so that when you get up in the morning, there's still warm, like steel cut oats in there, and it's really, really good. But yeah, you can't cook it up like oatmeal. Like it takes way longer because it's the whole grain, right? Like a steel cut oat is the oat grain that's been chopped a little bit, where like a rolled oat has literally been like steamed a bit and then flattened out. Where if you have like your minute oats, they've been steamed even more. So it's kind of on a continuum from like a whole oat grain to then a steel cut oat, which is just kind of harshly chopped, I guess, and then to an instant, your instant cereal you get in your hotel with all the sugar and the whatever. Probably not very good for you.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if we can post stuff, but I'd be happy to post the recipe for the Instapot version, which is fabulous in my opinion and very versatile. You can add whatever you want to it.
I mean, if you wanted to throw it up in chat, that's absolutely fine by me.
Okay, I'll figure out if I can take a picture of it. And then, so I'm sure Mary can do the tech on that. All right. Thanks, you guys. Hi, everybody out there.
Oh goodness, the picture.
Wow, what a great guest feature.
Good community.
All right, cool. Well, while we get that figured out, I'll continue on. We've also got nutritional yeast here. Just adds. Oh, what am I trying to say here, Mary? What'd you say? It adds a lot of what nutrition that typically meat brings to the table.
Yeah, I think like a cheesy flavor, and it's really good with like iron and B12, and maybe some other B vitamins. But most nutritional yeast is fortified with a lot of different stuff, so it's nutritionally dense.
The B12 is a really big one. It can be hard to find in a lot of vegan foods, but it's also really important for like brain health and things like that. And so I think that's one of the biggest, other than flavor, like it has a really cool flavor too. But the B12 is that big.
Yeah, I definitely am. I'm pretty sure I've been B12 deficient before and like would not recommend. And you're like, why can I not think? Like,
Yeah, the lethargy on that is not fun at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if anyone watching is interested in transitioning to a vegan diet, do your research because things like B12 are out there that your current diet you probably don't have to think too much about and you'll just get enough of. But when you transition to a different diet like veganism, like there's kind of holes that you can fill if you're kind of thoughtful about it. But if you don't, you set yourself up for degenerative brain disease. So don't do that. Do your research. It's worth it.
Yeah,
Buy
and I think
personally.
I think and like to add to that is definitely like yeah, like I feel like there have been things that I assumed or like know the quantities required in order to get like your daily thing because if you look at it like I eat eggs, we have our own chickens here. And so I'll eat their eggs and I was like and I have assumed in the past like that's enough if I'm eating like, eggs every couple days. But in order to get like the right B12, if you're just relying on eggs, is like four a day or like things like that. So like knowing
Oh,
like really how much you're gonna need. Um, B12, I think that it's honestly like it's probably for me at least, it's better to just get the supplement and take it just to make sure. But other things are just like make sure you're adding them to your diet, but know how much you need.
and I would really emphasize like it is worth doing like real research on that kind of stuff because not only is there like certain amounts that you need, but sometimes a lot of those different vitamins your body will process them differently. So if you eat a whole lot of once, like your body will only take like a little bit of that. And so the actual amount you'll need to eat is much higher. And you just want to take good care of yourself. So take your time, maybe transition slowly. Not trying to scare anyone, just there's things to consider.
Oh, that's a good point. I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, I feel like vegan diets get a lot of bad rap from people who try them because they go all in and gung ho, and then they feel bad because, well, obviously they're deficient in something that they used to just have enormous amounts of beforehand. So they blame it on the diet and not their shitty approach. So, getting back to the pantry. All right. So what we have here is called TVP, or textured vegetable protein, and this is actually kind of fantastic. If you prepare it correctly, it tastes very much like any of the crumbled meats. So like if you're making tacos, you make this correctly. You throw in what I think it was some soy sauce. I can't exactly remember how you made that, Mary, but it was an extremely good taco. But yeah, and it was completely vegan. So TVP, I don't think it's very expensive, but if you're absolutely craving that meat texture, this is a fantastic way to add that in. We also have quite a few different types of seeds here, seeds and nuts. Sunflower seeds, more sunflower seeds, cashews, walnuts, we've got peanuts. And all of these different types of nuts are fantastic snacks. You can eat them by yourself. We also have raisins, so fantastic to add in to any kind of vegan cooking if you want to add a little sweetness. Adds great texture as well. Let's see. We've got flaxseed meal here, and Mary mentioned just flaxseed earlier. Flaxseed meal has been crushed up, and when you add it to water, or you add a little warm water to it, it tends to puff up and get really sticky, and it becomes a fantastic vegan egg substitute. Especially fantastic for baking, when you just need to have that gelatinous structure into there to help bind things a little bit. This is fantastic. I use it pretty well in all of the baking I do. Well, if I need to make it completely vegan, that's what I do here. And I have not noticed any difference in between using an actual egg and using the flaxseed meal. What else? That.
I was going to add to that. I think that we have some, and I think it's also called Alsi powder in like Asian markets and stuff. So if you see I think it's called Alsi, ALSI. So look for that word also if it doesn't say flaxseed meal.
Okay. All right, cool. I don't remember, how much is it for a bag of that? Do you have any idea?
I don't know.
I don't think...
I never bought any of those. I just got there and there was like 3 bags. We have a ridiculous amount of flaxseed meal because people kept buying it. And now we have a lot.
I'm part of that problem. But considering how much you use in a bag of that, it's like a tablespoon into 3 tablespoons of water, and it gets you about an egg's worth of equivalent. It's not more expensive than eggs. Unless the bag was like $10, but I'm very certain it wasn't. So it's no more expensive than your standard egg. So that's a very good thing to have in there. All right. So now I know Mary and Amelia touched on some of the vinegars earlier. We have amazingly picked up a wide variety of different vinegars here. Now, you can probably get away with just a standard, like, white vinegar, an apple cider vinegar, and then maybe a red or a white wine vinegar. So like your standard apple cider, your standard white vinegar, then you've got your red and your white vinegars. And then if you're wanting to start getting a bit more fancy, these I don't think are required, but they bring a whole lot of different flavors to the table. I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation. Xinjiang vinegar. And then we've got...
Do you have any rice wine vinegar?
I don't know. I didn't see any. I don't think we have any in the moment. I think we keep forgetting to buy some. Yeah. We've also got balsamic vinegar for your more Mediterranean kind of cooking, and then we've got some. I guess this is rice wine, just a red rice wine, not your white rice wine. But yeah, you don't need to have the majority of these. These just bring different flavors to the table. But if you're feeling like that's an overwhelming amount of vinegars, I would agree with you, and it's absolutely not necessary. But those are all just options you can use. What else? We've got some clover honey here. Now I know there's some debate among vegans whether or not honey is considered an animal product. But if you're in the camp of, honey is just a natural byproduct and then us taking it from them isn't such a bad thing, then like a good clover honey, something that's responsibly farmed, that's the way you want to go. That does the least amount of damage to like the local bee economy. I know Mary showed you a few diced tomatoes. I just realized that I picked up condensed tomato soup and not the tomato paste like I thought it is. But yeah, tomato paste. That's used in a lot of vegan cooking. I won't show you all the different canned vegetables we have because it's just kind of the standard canned vegetables we've got here. Green beans, corn, peas. Having a good stock of that on hand makes it a lot easier to cook vegan.
Hey David, I can't hear you anymore. I don't know if you're doing something different, but thought I'd throw that out there.
I'm glad you said something because I thought it was just me that I couldn't hear.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Can
you hear me now?
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you heard me talk about?
Well, balsamic vinegar.
The balsamic vinegar. Okay. I'm not sure why you couldn't hear me. Alright, so I'll just go through the last couple of things. It actually wasn't a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, well I was just saying we do have that rice wine vinegar that you mentioned.
Nice. I have a potato recipe I really like that uses that.
Yeah. I was talking about the clover honey that we have here. How you typically want to source honey that is it's better if it's locally grown and it's sustainably farmed. And then I also talked about, whether or not you're in that vegan camp that thinks honey is an animal byproduct and therefore bad. So
yeah. I guess my opinion on that is that veganism should not be a purity thing, and so you should pick based on your feelings and ethics around that.
yeah.
But I feel like it does kind of fall victim to like the purity culture where it's like, well, technically bees are animals and honey is their product, and so therefore if you're a real vegan. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think now is the time to be trying to argue who's more vegan.
wait, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just saying that I don't think now is the time to be discussing who's more vegan than the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's not. That should never be something.
It
That's
shouldn't
not what
be.
this-
It
no.
is, but yeah. All right. I also talked about the wide variety of canned vegetables that we had in the pantry. I'm not going to show you each one of them because, I mean, it's just a lot of different canned vegetables. And like I said, having a nice wide variety of canned vegetables on hand makes vegan cooking a lot easier, especially if you can buy in bulk. Frozen is actually even better. They typically typically flash frozen vegetables retain a whole lot more nutrients than the stuff that you find in cans. So
Yummier. Like, cans have a weird taste to them.
really, because I would
You
say
don't
it's the other way
feel
around.
that? Yeah, like canned peas and canned green beans, canned corn. I guess I never grew up on them. I grew up on frozen vegetables, so they just taste really weird to me, and I dislike them strongly.
See, I grew up with my mother making both canned vegetables and fresh vegetables, so I don't really have a preference. Although, if I had to choose between canned and frozen, I would take canned. But
Really?
oh yeah,
I definitely have a distinct memory from my childhood when like my mom would make canned green beans and I thought that they were so nasty because in my opinion they are like so nasty. And then she like made fresh beans and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know green beans could be this delicious." And yeah, I think that then like she tended to make fresh beans more, but yeah, I don't know.
Now,
I guess I'm more of a canned baby than a frozen baby.
and that's fine. I also feel like there comes a difference in the way you prepare canned vegetables. Like if you pour out all the juice and then cook it, you've legitimately removed a majority of the nutrients and the flavor. Like it's all in that liquid. It's leached out over time. So when you cook it in the juices, you have a lot better flavor. But I know so many people who will open a can of vegetables and the first thing they do is they immediately just pour out all of that liquid into the sink and then they dump it into a bowl and cook it. And I feel like it tastes completely different. But that's more conjecture than it is anywhere provable.
Man, someone would have to pay me to take a shot of like canned vegetable liquid.
No, I
That's
absolutely
just-
would. Just more of the random
Oh.
shit I eat. Okay. So, I am going to attempt to show you all the really large, well, it's not even that really large, but it's a really nice, like, collection of spices and...
Oh yeah.
What's up? Oh, yeah. I get you. Alright. So, yeah, we have the standard stuff here. We have the overpriced little bottle of curry powder. We've got ground cumin. We've got cardamom, cinnamon, celery, more cumin, cayenne, ground pepper flakes, oregano, cilantro, bay leaves, ground bay leaves, paprika, ginger, garlic, cloves, cinnamon sticks, mustard seeds. What is this? That's that paprika that's almost done. Alright, allspice, whole cloves, and that's really just the standard. Those are spices that you would find in most people's kitchens, I think. If they were up, if they were into adding their own spices. Things where get a little bit more odd when we get to the other side here. And these are not spices that you have to have. Like, these are spices that a more, I would say, experienced vegan cook would love to have and add in, but it is absolutely not necessary on, like, just the base essential, like, ingredients.
Yeah, and these spices have been built up over like many, many years, and so many people have like brought in little different spices to cook certain things. So that's where this is all coming from.
Yeah.
There's not like a magic person who regularly uses every single one of those spices. Like, you don't have to try and be that.
No. A lot of these actually haven't been used for quite a while. I also found parsley, nutmeg, and thyme. If you're trying to just build up a simple, like, spice rack, those are also good to have. But less common ones, we have a Cajun seasoning here. I have honestly no idea. It just reads Cajun, so we'll have to try that out one day. We've got whole allspice. I thought that was a combination. Okay. We've got whole star anise. We've got a za'atar blend. Nanami tagarashi. Oh, goodness. Yellow mustard seed. Ground marjoram. Chinese five spice. Old Bay. Garam masala. I know Mary mentioned turmeric earlier. As much as that's nice, I wouldn't say it's a very necessary thing. Maybe for more Indian and Middle East cooking, but I don't think it's extremely common elsewhere. Mary?
Turmeric can be a really good just add into a lot of things. Like, it's pretty mellow in flavor.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Go on, Mary.
Oh, I feel like it doesn't have like a very strong flavor, but it's also like really good for you. And like there's a lot of like medicinal and health benefits of putting it in, so and it adds color, so I feel like sometimes if you need like a yellow color, it's like a natural way to get that. So I don't know, I really like turmeric. And I feel like it's versatile. Like if you can like put it in drinks and stuff and it's good and I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. It's not like, it's not cumin. Like, I feel like, put that in everything.
That's fair. We've also got some standard celery seeds. We've got some roasted black celery seeds. Oh, what is that? Fern Greek? Pharaoh Greek. How do I pronounce that, Mary?
Fenugreek.
Alrighty. And then with on one of our previous Real Food Lives, Mary had to make a specific spice blend actually for it. So we happen to have some Ethiopian berbere spice, or berbere. I can't even pronounce it correctly.
Beret.
Yep. And then yeah, we also have like your standard soy sauce, and then some sesame oil to bring a lovely bit of flavor. And then I won't even get into it, but just years and years of cooking different recipes from different parts of the world, we've amassed just a large pile of different what even is all of that? Seeds, spices, powders, add-ins. I don't know what all of it is there. There's some grass. There's chilies. Yeah, just amazing the kind of stuff that you just get over time.
Yeah, let multiple international clubs like use your kitchen, and you will have the coolest random spices.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we have here at ECM. And if I'm missing anything, Mary Amelia, let me know. But yeah, it's quite a lot of different kind of unique vegan stuff. A lot of it probably isn't even remotely necessary for the beginning vegan, but all of it serves a purpose in the long run. So if you find yourself with it, you can absolutely make something nice.
I think you covered it pretty well there, David.
All right, cool. If anybody in the chat has any kind of spice recommendations or brand recommendations for beginning vegan or beginning vegans, throw it in chat and
Or
let us know.
Favorite pantry item.
Or yeah, if you have a favorite pantry item. But yeah. Oh, I gotta put all this stuff away. That's gonna be no fun.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
Oof. You probably have a lot more though.
It's not so bad.
Do you guys, David and Mary, can you think of like a favorite seasoning? Like if you only had to pick one.
Oh god.
I mean, I feel like cumin is good in everything. Like, I feel like I put it in everything. Or I like paprika, and now I've recently gotten on a kick of specifically smoked paprika being really. So, probably one of those.
Cumin's amazing. It takes like spaghetti and turns it into like Mexican food. It's amazing.
My answer is kind of a. Oh, sorry.
Mine. David, you have one?
I was gonna say my answer is kind of a cop out. It's gonna be the Creole seasoning. I don't think I covered. But yeah.
Oh, I have a Caribbean rice dish that uses that. It is definitely delicious. Oh,
Yeah.
And Thrills, or Chills Thrills, that's probably how you say that, said they really like celery seed.
Nice, yeah.
I don't think I've cooked a lot with celery seed. I'll have to look up a recipe.
I think I've cooked it a couple of times where it asked me to toast it, like toast celery seeds. But that's about it. It's not really in the type of recipes that I make. But then again, I also don't make many vegan recipes. Just my baking.
But there was one week we toasted a seed for the Ethiopians, like the potato salad and beets. Was that celery seed or was that something else? Do you remember?
It might have been mustard seed, but I can't really remember. Mustard seed is also really good toasted.
Oh, I'm getting
Sauteed
worried.
Ooh.
That sounds
So,
good.
Sauteed
apparently
veggies
this
with celery seed?
comes
That does sound really good.
in powdered form, and you put it with sauteed vegetables. Man, I bet I could find some around here.
What, some celery seed?
Oh, well, yeah, they have like a really impressive spice cabinet. Like I was making that Ethiopian greens recipe because they have greens out in the front yard. And I was like, I wonder if they have cardamom. And then I look at their spice rack and I see like saffron. And I'm like, okay, clearly they probably have this. And they did. And they have weird stuff.
Yeah, I feel like having saffron is like in your pantry, in your spice cabinet is like when you know you've made it. You know, like
Yeah,
Okay.
Chills Thrills here, actually. You mentioned mushrooms, and that's not actually something I think any of us brought to the table here, because none of us have it in the pantry currently. But mushrooms are a fantastic meat substitute. They bring a lot of texture and a lot of kind of umami flavor that you get with a lot of meats to the table. So, yeah, if you buy up on bulk dried mushroom, you're able to add that to a ton of vegan recipes in place. Well, I guess any recipe in place of the meat, and you're able to
and I
make it a
also
lot more.
have heard I've never cooked with it, but like powdered mushroom, as just like basically a spice or like to add for flavor. Also seems like it'd probably be good.
Tone to it.
Say what, Amelia?
I'd imagine like powdered mushrooms would add a really earthy tone.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's about the only way I'd eat mushrooms cooked anyway.
Yeah,
It's
'cause
raw
you
or
don't like
nothing
the
for me.
Maybe that's like the perfect solution for you, David, then, because you get the flavor of it, but you don't have to do the weird slimy.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, mushrooms taste delicious, but yeah, once you cook them down, they just get this weird slimy texture for me. Just bleh. And then people are like, throw butter on it, so make it more slimy. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, I don't know about the butter.
I think everything froze.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Laird, Laird brand of powder mushrooms. That seems like something that I should try. I feel like I'd really like that.
where do you get them? Like, can you get that at the normal store?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, yeah, I could just add raw mushroom to the end product of a meal, but that's the tough part. If it's raw, I love eating it, so I'll just eat it as I go. So there's no point in me adding
You guys
it.
keep
It's just
cutting
literally a
out.
side
It's
for me.
sad.
Am I cutting out?
No, not that I know of. Did I just hear backfeed on myself?
It's being weird recently. It keeps like whoop, 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 whoop. Like it keeps going mute and then
Huh. Okay.
making noise again. But
Layered mushroom powder at natural grocers.
Okay.
I'm
that
trying to
might be
think.
hard.
I think there's one natural grocer in the state of Kansas. I think it's in
That's
Wichita.
not true.
It's not
I
true?
think there's I think that there's maybe a couple in Wichita, maybe I think there's one in Topeka, probably Kansas City, Kansas.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like because we live in a town where like there's not really like we have like regular grocery stores, but we don't have like natural grocery stores. Whenever I'm visiting other cities, I go like am sure to go and stock up on this stuff.
Yeah, for reference, what's the population? Does anyone know the population count?
I think we're about 50,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
think it was 56.
So it's a college town of about 50,000, and the fanciest we get in terms of grocery stores is a Hy-Vee and like Asian markets. So
Yeah.
it can be limiting sometimes. You don't have a lot of those hyper specialty ingredients, and so you have to kind of make do with things that you can find most places.
Yeah. We actually do have like this small organic grocer. I want to say it's on Fort Riley, but
Wait, we do.
It's
what?
closed. You're talking about Peoples and they closed.
Oh, did
Houston
they
was-
over there by the noodle place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in there
That's
once
right.
and they were super expensive. So to be honest, that doesn't surprise me.
There was a lot of issues, but it's still sad that they closed. But yeah, that was kind of we had that, and then we had like a market that was stocked a lot of local fruit and stuff and food, kind of like a mini farmers market, and they also closed. So yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah. So Chills says that you can order layered stuff online. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
maybe
that's
I'll
one
check it
option.
out.
Maybe we could find like a recipe and work that into our Real Food Live, like a little nugget. Like we want an excuse to try powdered mushrooms, so we're gonna find one.
There might be some of the Caribbean recipes that because I feel like there's a lot of like meaty dishes. I'm having to find like meat replacement kind of. So like this week I think that we're making I think they're called patties. But I'm gonna make like a meat replacement in kind of like a empanada sort of thing.
Oh,
So I think that might be the case with a couple of the recipes this month.
I feel like there's a lot of potential to put it in rice or something, but I don't know what else you would put it with.
I feel like you could probably just like throw it in to
Yeah,
different stuff.
I feel like any dish with a savory component to it, you could probably add powdered mushroom to really kick it up a bit.
Yeah. Like taco filling would probably be really delicious.
That's definitely an idea.
I feel like this could unleash like a whole storm where we just start putting powdered mushrooms in everything.
Change the channel to just powdered mushrooms.
The powdered mushroom channel. I feel like we're kind of that way, like during the school year with curry powder. Like a lot of things end up, like we cook a lot of curry.
We do, especially during the winter. Like, who doesn't want to just come and have a nice big old bowl of curry?
It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Meredith,
So,
if you want to talk a little bit more about our next Real Food Live episode, and then we can kind of transition to a little bit about this episode, and because I think this is about the end of our pantry party, unfortunately.
yeah. So because of It's being loud. Because of the situation of me being quarantined for the past couple weeks, I haven't been able to do Real Food Live on Thursdays. So this week I'm out of quarantine and we are going to be starting the Caribbean theme. And so we're going to be doing patties, I think is what they're called. I'm trying to pull up the thing because I can't remember the side dish. But yeah,
Just check the
yeah.
chat. I threw up the future link there for you.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, so Jamaican patties, which are kind of empanada like, and I think it's it might be a mushroom and quinoa stuffing or something that's gonna be like a beef thing, so that I was trying to like make it keep some integrity of authenticity with it. And then we're gonna have some rice and peas on the side, so it's gonna be our Jamaican week. So yeah, that's gonna be at 6 p.m. this Thursday, 6 p.m. Central Time. This Thursday. And yeah, it should be fun. So that's it.
All right, cool.
We're gonna be doing a variety of different Caribbean food for the rest of July. So it'll be fun.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I'm not unhappy that I'm not going to be in here anymore. I mean, I liked baking on stream, but like I said, I'm running out of ideas already.
Yeah, it'll be good to be back. I do miss it. So, and I was a little bit scared. I was like, oh my God, but I wanted to make these recipes so bad. Like, I want to make them. So.
We'll have to make them like the first part of August. It'll be like Caribbean makeup because we wanted to make this food and eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually don't have a plan for next week's sustainable kitchen. We do have a couple ideas, but we don't have anything on paper yet.
Okay. Well then, I guess we'll just post about it whenever.
Yeah. We'll do a full announcement on what the stream's going to be about on the Real Food Lives.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think with that, do we have any other announcements? Does anybody have any announcements they want to make?
Not really. Just that you're going to be back this Thursday. So, yeah. Chills. Thank you very much for stopping by. And he also asks, have we made a spanakopita vegan? Have we done that? Or are we planning to do that in the future at all?
Spanakopita. No, we haven't. That's a good idea, though.
All right.
What region would that be from? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
All right. Thanks for stopping by,
I don't
Chills.
want to
Appreciate you.
embarrass myself and get it wrong. I feel like it sounds. Yeah, I'm gonna Google it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, it is Greek. I was like, I feel like that sounds really Greek, but I
Whoa,
don't know.
we missed it with the Mediterranean.
Ah.
Yeah.
We
That's
we
okay.
do technically. We are kind of in the middle of a month, so if we want to kind of go back to the Mediterranean for the latter half of next month, then we can start fresh on a new month. So.
Those
Yeah.
do look really good, though. They look really flaky. Ooh.
Okay, well, if there's no other announcements, I mean, I think that we're ready to log off then. So thanks everybody for coming in, stopping by, talking.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Yeah, Spanakopita would be actually really interesting. We should do that sometime.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it was a baking thing. I honestly thought it was something like more savory, but
They
hey,
looked very
absolutely.
pastry-like.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Real Food Live this Thursday, 6 p.m. Our host up above me here, Mary, she's back. So, I guess with that, we'll go ahead and close up for the night. So everyone in chat, take care. Have a good. Oh God, 2 days. My God, my brain is melting.
Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.